So, welcome all. We're already running a little late, so let's get started. Now,
Vijay, just 1 second before you start. Vijay?
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Okay. Because, 3 or 4, or I don't know how many of you are going to be presenting. So I am going to give all participants the ability to unmute themselves. However, please do not unmute unless you are going to speak. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, go ahead, Vijay.
Okay. So, thank you all for being here, and I thank all the 8 of you who went to Belvai and who have so kindly prepared this presentation to show us what you saw in Belvai, because a lot of us had plans to go, but then it never happened. So over to Annette, Rani. Rani, please get started. And for the information of the others, kindly keep your video switched off as well as your mic, so that we have enough bandwidth. Go on with this, and if there are any questions, please post them only in the chat box.
Vijay, I think you've gone on mute.
Rani, you can go ahead. Rani, where are you? Annette? Jennifer? Meshba, they're not able to unmute.
There's a message in the group chat box which says they're not able to unmute.
1 second. I have allowed all participants to unmute. Why are you not able to do?
You can try now.
Which of you is trying to unmute right now?
It says can't unmute. Ambika is saying.
It's weird. Okay, I am going to ask all participants to unmute and then mute themselves again. Just give me a second. Have you got a pop-up asking you to unmute?
Yes.
Yeah, so just see if that works.
Yes, we can unmute.
Right. So those who are not active speakers, please don't unmute. Okay.
Okay, Rani. Rani. Annette. Jennifer.
Okay, let me just do it for you. Just give me a second. I think this unmute thing, for whatever reason, is not working. Give me a second. I'll just tell me when somebody wants to be unmuted. Okay. So right now, who has to be unmuted?
Rani.
Rani. Okay.
Rani, Annette. Yeah. Jennifer.
No, we'll do it one by one. Otherwise, there'll be noise. No.
It's okay. 3, 4 people is fine. I think.
Rani, have you been able to unmute?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So next speaker, whenever you are switching, just let me know.
Okay, I'll start.
Yes, you can start.
Good evening to everyone. Myself, Rani. So on the 14th of this month, me and a few of us, actually 8 of us from Stella College, we went to the butterfly meet in Belvai, and it was kind of like a very new experience to us. Before I start, I'll just introduce the participant. Myself, Rani. I went along with Annette, Mahashri, Jennifer, Anaga, Sanchita, Shirley, and Megha. And this opportunity, actually, we came to know about it from Managa. One of her friends had gone to this butterfly meet like the previous year, and he had given her like a very good experience. And also, Kalpana ma'am and Vidya ma'am had gone the previous year, and when they came back, they had also shown like a small presentation in class telling how the meet was. And so we were very excited to actually go there. And Anaga was the one who took like the main initiative on how booking the tickets. And she was like, we have to go, whatever happens, we have to go, like that. So we agreed on, we decided to go. So first of all, the main thing is this was not the date that we wanted to go. So initially we thought that, okay, not many people will go and participate and all, but whenever we tried to book for a date, and we called him up and asked, it was like all these dates are booked. And finally we got this slot for 8 people to go together on the 14th of this month. So we started from Chennai on the 14th, and there was no direct train to Belvai. So we went by Mangalore. So we boarded the Bangalore Central Express. The train journey itself was a very new experience to me, because it was my first time in train traveling with friends. Usually I travel either alone or with my family, but I have not gone with friends. So that itself was like a new experience to us, and we had like a lot of fun in train. And we also had like a tiny bit of fear, because majority of the train journey, it was via Kerala. So there was currently a Nipah outbreak in Kerala. So we were like a little scared of whether we'd get the disease. But then thankfully enough, such a situation did not happen. And even in the train journey, while we are going, one thing it was like a very good thing to experience was a change in climate. Because while we move out of Chennai towards the Kerala side, we can see like a sudden shift from like this heat to a cooler atmosphere. And we experienced that mainly like while we were coming back also, like once we enter the Tamil Nadu, once we cross the Tamil Nadu border, it's like a huge hit of heat wave suddenly enveloping our body. But when we're going towards there, like a very cool atmosphere, very calm atmosphere. And after seeing all this heat in Chennai, almost every place in Chennai, as well as while we entered Karnataka, it was raining all the time. So we had like a very cool weather, very calming weather to travel in train. And we also saw a very beautiful sunrise while we were traveling, because the sky was a purplish pink color, and it was very beautiful to watch that. And on the 15th morning around 7:20, we reached Mangalore Central. And Samilan Shetty sir, he himself had arranged a taxi for us to reach from Mangalore to the Belvai Butterfly Park. And even the travel in the car, it was very good, because the atmosphere there is quite different from the atmosphere in Chennai. The weather is like on and off rain, and it's very cool. And even while traveling in car, we can see like quite a lot of butterflies on the road when we go. And one thing is that the butterfly park, while we enter, it does not have like a big board or like a big advertisement and all. It's inside a forest, so it's a very calming atmosphere while we enter into the park. And before we entered the park, we saw like a tree, and the tree had like a lot of cattle egrets. I think at least 60-70 cattle egrets, and some other birds were there on the tree, nesting on the tree. And it was a very beautiful scene to look at. And then like when we entered the butterfly park, it was actually raining very heavily, and we were like a bit late. And the minute we stepped down there itself, all we could see was a lot of experienced people clicking photographs of the butterflies in and around there. They had all come a bit early. So like they were like clicking the photographs of the butterfly, because while we enter the park, like this tree, there are like quite a few trees there, and they have actually kept overripened fruits on the trees. Even while it rains, they keep the fruits on the tree, so the lot of butterflies come and settle there even while it rains to feed on the fruits. So we have never seen butterflies this up close in our campus. So like, and also this clipper and all is like first time we were seeing them, and it was quite a big butterfly, and we were seeing it up close. And one thing that I really liked was the movement of the proboscis of the butterflies, because that is not something like I had seen very clearly in our campus. So like when we when they're like this, this is a video that I took of the common baron feeding on the banana. And what really stood out to me was the contrast of the color of the proboscis against the body. So the body is fully brown in color, and this proboscis alone is a nice fluoro green. So it really stood out to me. And also other butterflies were also feeding on the fruits there. The gaudy baron, again, it is like a quite a brownish shaded butterfly, and its proboscis is actually a fluoro orange in color. So it's very beautiful to see the proboscis move in and out of the fruits and the butterflies sucking on them. And while we reached there itself, Samilan Shetty sir, he showed us the way around the tents. We all of us stayed in the tents, and that it by itself was a very new experience again. So because it was I think all of our first experience staying in a tent, and the tents were also quite spacious and very comfortable. And one thing is that at night time and all, moths and all come and settle outside our tent. Frogs come and settle outside the tent, and there were even spiders around. And one of our group members, Sanchita, she is terrified of spiders. So in my tent, there was a spider on the second layer of the tent. It can actually get into the tent, but all of the 3 days we stayed there, Sanchita refused to enter our tent because this spider was there in the tent. But then even though like we were a bit scared, there was like this constant reassurance from them that the spider is actually not poisonous. It's not harmful for you. It will not do anything to you. Don't have to be worried like that. And also we were very intimidated by the people of the first time we went there, because all of them, like, even though we had like 2 resource people, all of them were like resource people themselves. They had all come to the meet before. They have like an experience and quite a good experience in butterfly watching, and they were like, whatever butterflies were saying, they were all telling the name of the butterflies, and we felt like little babies there, because we only know a few butterflies that are in our campus and some other butterflies, but not as much as they know. But then they never made us feel like we don't know anything. They were very welcoming and accommodating for us there. And that is like how the trip went. And I think we have a small video on our entire experience.
Rain. We had a good time. It's a very nice place.
Yeah, now Anand will be speaking about our day 1 experience in Durga Forest.
Annette, yeah.
Annette, are you able to unmute yourself, or should I do it?
I think you better do it as well.
No, it depends on which connection she's using. One of them is a co-host, she'll be able to do it. The other one,
Do both.
no, if you do both, there'll be feedback. So
No, Annette B. Sebastian, she has sent a message.
okay, then the
Yeah, thank you, sir.
done. Okay.
So first day we actually we reached there by around like 9 o'clock, 9:05. So Sir Samlan sir was like, he was very nice and he was like, okay, go have breakfast. And we were having breakfast. Then we saw all the other participants with their big cameras, their professional cameras. And we were actually intimidated at first because we were like babies. We did not know anything. We knew about the butterflies in our campus and what we studied like here and there, but we did not know much about them. So, but we were intimidated at first, but we knew that we were going to be fine. So then, after freshening up after breakfast, we got into the bus, and it was like a 30-minute drive to Durga Forest. So it's like a tropical evergreen. It has a tropical evergreen habitat, and it's like around 43, 47 acres. So there we reached after half an hour. We all got down, and at once everybody, they were screaming like, there is this butterfly, there is that butterfly. The next slide. Yeah. So it was a very successful day, I would say, day one, because it did not rain the previous night. So all the butterflies were out there, and everybody, and as Rani said, all the participants, they were very they knew about the butterflies more than us, and they had actually come here before, like twice or thrice. Some people, it was their third time to this to the butterfly park. So we saw very beautiful butterflies: common sailor, blue mormon, and Jezebel. There is also this thing, Paris peacock. We were also able to see a southern birdwing, but the first day we were not able to capture southern birdwing. It just flew by. So we were all like, wow, southern birdwing, because even Kalpana and Vidya ma'am, they used to say, southern birdwing is a very beautiful butterfly. It's this big. Like they used to explain it very well, and we were also like, whatever happens, we have to see southern birdwing, and we were able to see that. Clearly, we were able to see that clearly on the third day, but the first day we just saw them, fly. Then we also saw like silver glassy tiger, like different butterflies that looked alike. Like Samlan sir was able to easily differentiate between dark blue tiger and blue tiger, and he was like, that is not blue tiger, that is dark blue tiger. And I was thinking, how did he even know? Just within a span of 2 seconds, he understood that it was dark blue tiger. And also we saw tree nymph. And actually there was a butterfly that was, slowly like gliding sort of way. So he was like, that is the slowest flying butterfly in the Western Ghats. So it was actually, kind of nice to see the different butterflies and to get out of that, yeah, there are only 10 to 12 species that we know, but now we know at least 42. We were actually lucky that we saw around 42 species of butterflies that day alone. And then there was also fluffy teeth that we found. I mean, they were very excited to see that butterfly. Like we were excited to see all the butterflies because we knew kind of like none, but they were very excited, and we were like, why are you excited about this butterfly alone? It was because after 5 or 6 years, they were, they saw fluffy teeth there. So it sat on somebody's hand, somebody's shoes. So again, we were able to photograph it properly with their guidance, of course. And then since everybody were resource persons there, after a point, we all, kind of separated from each other, in the sense like somebody saw a butterfly far away. So we all ran. Some of us ran. Some of them were left behind. And then we were having like the weather was also like, sometimes it will rain, and the next moment it's all sunshine. And also there were 3 friends, that is Anaga, Mahashri and Sanjita, who had their cameras. So we were literally, protecting the cameras from the rain. The next moment it's all sunshine. So again, we are out, like no raincoats, no umbrellas. yeah, there was a point when we stayed around for like 2.5 hours there, and then around lunchtime we reached back. But before, yeah, so 42, we saw all the butterflies, we observed them. Then we all got into the bus. And then only after like, 5 seconds, one of our members, Sanjita, she was like, there are two members who are missing. So then we had to literally stop the bus, and then we saw the three of them running, like two of our friends and another participant of ours. They were running with their cameras, all sweaty. But then it was again very funny to watch them do that because we have been taking care of the camera so well. And then suddenly it's them just, not caring about anything and just running over. It was fun. So it was like a again by I think 2 we reached back to the campsite, and it was like a 30-minute drive. Yeah, that's about. So these are the pictures that were taken by Mahashri, Sanjita, Anaga, Shirley, and yeah, they were able to do that, and that was our first day, like the morning session of day 1. Over to Mahashri. Thank you.
Thank you, Annette. Mahashri. Just check, Mahashri, are you able to unmute?
No, 1 second. I haven't.
Okay. Mahashri.
Okay, should be able to do it now.
Do it now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So after the session in Durga Forest, we came back to the campsite. We had lunch, and after lunch, we had a session. And Samdan Shetty sir himself for the session. So that's okay. He's actually he's first of all to say he's the founder of Samdan Shetty Butterfly Park in Belvai. So he's a conservationist, and he gave some inputs on the butterfly behaviors of the butterflies, like mud puddling, nectaring, courtship, and basking. So he also showed few clips of his documentary. So him and his team made a really beautiful documentary. We were able to see the each and every behavior so clear, even the butterflies, like even small butterflies like skippers and blues. In the documentaries, the videos were so clear, and we were so happy that some behaviors like mutualism between ants, how the ants protect the caterpillars of the butterflies, and all those small things were shown. So it was so fascinating to see in the documentary. And just to say about the butterfly park itself, it's a 7-acre land, and he also mentioned that they have found more than 150 species of butterflies in the park. And yes, over to Jennifer.
Sri, Jennifer.
Hello.
Jennifer, you able to unmute?
Yeah, there she is.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes,
Right.
sir. So I'm going to tell about our experience in the second day of our visit. So we went to Someshwara Wildlife Sanctuary, which is technically like a 1 hour of travel from Belvai, where we stayed. So there we saw many new butterflies, and the star of the day was Malabar banded peacock. So that was like a very beautiful butterfly to see. And then on the first day, we saw one Malabar banded peacock, but then we couldn't able to have a clear view of it. On the second day, we stopped on the way to Someshwara Wildlife Sanctuary. We stopped near a small home where they had all host plants for many butterflies, and we saw like tons of butterflies like Malabar banded butterfly, and then Pioneer. Pioneer is not supposed to be in the Western Ghats because its habitat is like arid and semi-arid region, which technically Someshwara Wildlife Sanctuary is not. And then we saw next slide. And then we saw commander, great eggfly, grey pansy, and red Helen chasuble, and so many butterflies. And it's technically like a repetition of the first day of butterflies. But then we saw a lot number of red Helens in that region. Someshwara Wildlife Sanctuary is an evergreen forest, and we saw many like big butterflies and everything. So we on the way to Someshwara Wildlife Sanctuary, the bus was stopped, and then we were walking along the road, and then sides around the sides it's a full forest area, and then we were walking the whole area. In that middle we had small streams and falls. It was like a beautiful sight to see for all of us. It's like a cinematic view and all that. So that is there. And then the star of like one important thing about Someshwara is they had so many leeches, like a lot of leeches. So we all were like super scared of leeches because beforehand only we asked Kalpana and Vidya ma'am what do we have to do with the leeches. They also said some precaution methods and all that. Still we were like super scared and everything. We wore 2 layers of socks and covered ourselves from top to bottom except for our face and everything. But then still it came up to our pants. For one of our friends, Rani, her leech was sting onto her pants, and then we flickered it away. But then Mahashri and Danet were in a search of leeches because they didn't see any leeches till now. So they were like, okay, Mahashri, you want to see the leech? It's on the Rani's leg. They were like playing around. But except for us, everyone was like not even scared about the leeches. I'm like, they were like all wearing slippers, flip-flops and everything. When we asked them, they are like, even though if we cover also, the leeches are going to bite. So what's the point of wearing it? And that's the reason, that's the other participants' view about the leeches. It was like beautiful experience for all of us. So over to Mahashri again.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, just to add on to about the leeches, as Jennifer told, me and Aunt were actually searching for leeches, and at one point we stopped looking for butterflies, and like on the plants, we just gazed on the ground. We stopped looking for butterflies, and we were only searching at one point. And I was so glad that I saw a leech finally before leaving that place. And after we came back to the campsite, we had a session by Parish sir. He is actually on the next slide. Ma'am, yeah. So Parishuri sir actually took it was like an art workshop kind of thing where he taught us how to draw butterflies, how to sketch butterflies basically. So we had like a 1.5 hours to 2 hours of art session with him. And it was really beautiful, and he also showed his artworks, which will be the next slide. Yeah. He's professionally a wildlife and botanical artist. He shared his artworks differentiate how we start to also send his exhibitions, and the was like color in work. So it's so fascinating. We also get out of so so that was done Gita and made started southern and Malabar. So we sketched and he also saw that we got his signature on it. So yeah, these are the artworks. Even the several butterflies. And the next slide. The next slide. This is day 3 in the park itself. So in Saman Chetty's Butterfly Park. And Saman Chetty's Butterfly Park, we had a day 3, just the entire day in the park. So we spent taking pictures of the butterflies in the park. And he had a beautiful space full of host plants. So we could see all kind of butterflies. And we were also so lucky to see the southern birdwing butterfly pupa. It was so huge. We've never seen that huge pupa. So it was just light leaf and it just camouflaged with the plant itself. Yes, and the next slide. And these are the pictures of southern birdwing which I took. I was so happy to take this because southern birdwing we also saw on the day first in Durga Forest, but we couldn't click pictures because it was super high in the sky. So when I saw the southern birdwing, I was so excited to take pictures of it, and I'm so glad it's a bit good. And about photography, also, I'm a basic photographer. Like I don't have much experience with photography. And to be honest, people over there who had cameras also helped us to take pictures of the perfect angles of angles of butterflies. So even Samilan Shetty sir actually guided us, so which angle would be good for a better picture. And yeah, so everyone had a good experience in taking pictures. And over to Megha.
Thank you, Ashri. Who's coming up?
I'm sorry, who's going
hello,
next?
everyone.
Yeah, she's on. Hello.
Who's speaking next?
It's Megha.
Yeah, I thought I heard her, but has she
Yeah,
gone
she
on
said
mute
hello
again?
and- Megha.
Hello everyone, good evening.
Yeah, hi.
So experience about southern birdwing is like, it's a big butterfly for me. And thank you. When everyone is taking photo of this butterfly, I was like taking my camera phone and I was taking a video of that. It was like a magical experience. People are taking with DSLR and I'm taking in my phone camera. It's like, wow, people can take it in camera, I'm taking in my camera phone. So yeah, it was a nice experience together. And I would like to thank Anaga. Like she was the one who actually wanted us to come go there and experience this butterflies things. And I am just a basic learner in butterfly cutting, and I'm learning the names of the butterflies and knowing that life cycle, host plant, and I'm trying to like raise caterpillars. I don't like caterpillars. I'm a bit scared of caterpillars, but it's fine.
Megha, you gone on mute again?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful experience. And over to Mahashri.
So it's Anaga. Anaga will be next.
Just a sec.
Hello, everyone. So, as everyone said, it was like a genuinely beautiful experience there. And to experience just walking through the forest, it was something very surreal because I thought, okay, we'll always be surrounded by resource people who would guide us through every step. But on the day 3, it was basically like we spent the entire day on campus. So we were allowed to have breakfast and then explore the campus fully. And that's when I just kept my camera and then I just went for a stroll. And we were still capturing so many beautiful butterflies, like autumn leaf. There was a beautiful open wing picture that I was able to take. And so many beautiful butterflies that later I had to keep updating my name list because I kept confusing it again. And these butterflies, as they said, it's so much more bigger than what we see on campus. And one important thing to note is that when we compare it to Stella Maris College, the habitat is different. So are the butterflies that we find here versus there. So butterflies that were really common for us. For example, like tawny coaster was very special for them. So there were only 2 tawny coasters there that everyone else was very excited to see. also a tailed jay, which we see here very often near the false Ashoka tree. But for them, it was like very surprising to see. They kept taking photographs of it. And so that was one thing. Next slide. Then we saw more than butterflies, we saw other species also. Like I know that it was a butterfly meet per se, but I was also equally excited at the prospect of going to be near the Western Ghats and then getting to observe all the other species there. And we saw a lot of caterpillars. And again, I didn't mention the name of the caterpillars because when they grow up to be sometimes a completely different color. So we're not sure which species of butterfly or moth the caterpillar belongs to. But then it was genuinely beautiful to see, and we wouldn't have even been able to observe it if not for the experts who mentioned that there is a caterpillar underneath the leaf. For example, the green color leaf picture I have attached here, there's a caterpillar on there. And it was there were 3 caterpillars on that plant, and people had to keep pointing that out because once we turn our gaze, it will be gone from our observation. Then a lot of moths, as Rani also mentioned, in our tents, the most beautiful experience was that the tents were 2-layered. So at night, when we turned on the lamp, we would be able to see the silhouette of the moths and spiders and everything. And we saw so many different moths, especially the owl moth. It was as big as a butterfly, and it was just staying there, laying flat on one of the chairs. And it gave us a lot of time to just observe how beautiful it was. Then other species, actually, when coming onto the campus on the very first day, the first thing I noticed was the hummingbird hawk moth. So the hummingbird hawk moth, it genuinely looks just like a hummingbird. So I thought, okay, a hummingbird wouldn't be that small, right? And on asking some of the experts, they said, okay, it's a hummingbird hawk moth. It goes by many different names, but it was so beautiful to see it just being so busy at work, collecting nectar from up to 20 flowers within like 2 seconds. It would just keep fluttering all the time, and it was very difficult to take this picture. I can honestly say I spent a lot of time on campus observing just the hawk moth. Then, as you can see, there were a lot of other species also. The spiders, I have attached one spider picture here. But actually, from the bus, when we were moving into the forest on day 2 and day 1, we could actually observe spider webs from the bus. It was that huge. And often the female and the male spider would be on the same web also. So that was very surprising to see for me. And we saw many grasshoppers as well, especially the fulvous forest skimmer. It was in an obelisk position soon after this picture. It was trying to regulate its body temperature, and that was like, I kept asking the others who came with me because they're zoology students. So I asked, okay, what is the behavior? It's raising its abdomen to the sun, and they said, okay, it's performing this particular behavior. So there's 2 grasshopper pictures there. Then one of the resource people, the participants that came with us actually, Sharat sir, he pointed out that that's a Kalidasa lanterna. It was such a brightly colored, beautiful little bug, and it was all around a bark of a tree. Then the bulbul, of course, it was on the toppest branch of one tree. We saw 2 of the same species of snake, green vine snake. Going into the trip, I was very afraid of 2 things, one leech and one snake. To my surprise, I found both, and it was very interesting. Once I saw them, it was very fascinating to just observe them in silence, take a picture and move without disturbing them or anything. And to an extent, I think I overcame that fear. And I've attached a picture of one bug that I've not really been able to identify, but it was very unique in its shape and structure. So I was trying to identify it. Then moving on to the overall camp experience, there was also damselflies. I really wanted to talk about damselflies because the bicolored damsel, that was the first damselfly that I took a really close picture of. And as you can see, even though it's called bicolored, it has many colors. Like I have spent about 20 minutes each time I scroll in my gallery just to look at how many colors and how beautiful it is. And there were a lot of damselflies. They're only slightly different from dragonflies, but you have to be observing while they're moving in order to spot them where they're sitting on the grass. So I was so glad to see so many of them, so many different varieties. And some of them I found the names of just today. So that was again very happy to see so many damselflies. And moving on to the entire camp experience, it was very nice. The whole rain, we were protected from the rain from the tent due to the tent. And Samilan sir was so helpful. On day one, when it had actually rained a lot, the mattresses actually started getting slightly drenched. But he was so accommodating that he immediately asked us for change of accommodation. Like he moved us to a bigger tent. And I had lost my voice on going there due to the whole travel. But it was really easy to make hot water available. There was very homely food available at perfect timings. So we would never wait in the morning for long hours just to have breakfast. It will be arriving on time. There was sweets served along with the breakfast. There was Mangalore bun on one of these days. Then there were very special. There was a very special payasam, the porridge, and again very unique Mangalore dishes. So we were also very happy to interact with other participants, as they said. The whole camp experience brought us all together. We were discussing about how many different species we had seen in each of our areas. And they were also surprised to see that so many college students had joined together for this one experience. So I feel like that was definitely the highlight of the whole trip, I would say. So yeah, moving on to Mahashri.
Thank you, Ananta.
Mahashri, can you unmute yourself?
Mahashri, are you there?
Hello. Yes, sir. Yeah. And also just to conclude that it was not just the resource people who had information to talk about. It was
Mahashri, let me just
also
interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
There's a message. I think Shirley wants to say something. Just give me a second. Let me enable.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Shirley.
Hi, this is Shirley. And this was like, I have to give a small gist about it. So, because I was not into butterflies before going to this trip, so I just went for fun there. But when I saw the clipper, I fell in love with it. So, when I saw each and every butterfly, I couldn't even differentiate between a common crow and a Mormon. I would say a common crow with a tail. So, my friend will be like, that's a Mormon. Then I will be like, okay, I cannot differentiate between the butterflies in campus. So when I went there, I was like a kid. I couldn't even identify a immigrant or anything. But the people there didn't treat me that way. So they taught me from the scratch. They said, okay, how many other times I asked, what is that? What is that? How do you identify it's a male or a female? And they were like constantly guiding me. So you should do it this way. You should observe there will be a pouch there. You can see the hairpin kind of thing in the abdomen and all those things. So the other thing is that both of my friends, 3 of them had a DSLR, and I thought of hiring one before I go there. But if you have a phone, it's more than enough. So when everybody with a camera clicks a picture, and after that I would go there slowly, sneak in, and then I'll take a closer picture of it. And I got some nice pictures of the butterflies, damselflies, and all the things. So people who are not fond of butterflies, people who don't know anything and like don't know a lot about butterflies, they can definitely go to this trip. This 3 days of this trip changed my whole life and whole opinion about butterflies. And I will be more fascinated about this. Every time when I saw a butterfly, I am like standing there for like 10 minutes viewing what is it, how can it be so beautiful. And whenever I talk about butterflies these days, I'm getting so hyped. So this is the impact of this trip in me. So handing over to the next person.
Okay, that was lovely. Marshall, just give me a second. I will enable you again.
Sanjita.
Sanjita, is it not Marshall? Okay, one second. This is Mary Sanjita, right?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
One second. Right. I think you should be able to go ahead, Sanjita.
Sanjita.
Sanjita, can you unmute, please? I've given her the rights to unmute. Yeah? She's unmuted now. The mic is on.
Maybe we can continue. She can join us later.
Maybe she can disconnect and join back. Meanwhile, somebody else can speak. Because it is showing as unmuted, but we are not able to hear her, right? Okay, it doesn't look like she's able to, her voice is not coming through, although she is unmuted. What do you want to do?
No, I think maybe she can try later. Hasri can conclude.
But in that case, I think Sanjita should try to disconnect and join back again.
Okay, let Marshri conclude, no? Rani will conclude. Okay, Rani is concluding.
Okay, 1 second.
Hasri, was there anything else you wanted to say?
Actually, our experience part is done, ma'am. Now we'll just like to give a takeaway of what we got from the trip and conclude.
Yes, please.
What I think we all learned from apart from the butterfly names that we learned in the trip, what I really liked is how humble the people there were, because we were like we were very new to butterfly walks or like walks through the forest and all, and they never like all of us mentioned, they never made us feel that way. They were like patient with us to explain things to us, even though like to most of them it was very basic things about butterflies and their behavior, but they had taken time to explain those things to us. And also, one thing, like Kanaka mentioned, it's very fascinating to see how something that does not excite at all is very exciting to them. Because like when we saw the Tony Coaster, all of us like ignored that straight away, and we were like going behind the hummingbird, hawk moth, and the Jezebel and all to click the pictures. But for them, it was very new because they were like, we rarely get to see this Tony Coaster, so it's very new to them. And also the same with the leeches. We saw the tiny leeches, and we were like super scared of the leeches. But then they were like where we live, like in Goa and the other towards the other side, we have like really huge leeches. So this is not not something like I'm like very much scared of. If like they had a good experience. So like if the leech would come and bite them, they're like, if anybody wants to take a picture, you can take the picture. Then after that only they were like flicking the leeches away. And also one major experience for me was like the sharing of information and the knowledge that we know. Because when we went there, we were very intimidated by the people there. We were like, we don't know anything. So like we were like initially, personally, we were like withdrawing information. Like if we wanted to add something also, we were like, okay, they already know that, maybe we should not go and speak there. But then it changed. One thing was like there were birds there, and many of them did not have like much of an experience in birding. So like Megha has like a good knowledge about birds. So she was actually pointing out the birds and like telling this bird, this is this bird and this is that bird, and they were like very excited to learn about that. And a personal note from my side, I am very interested in bugs. And also this Shalit sir, he has a very good knowledge in butterflies. He was the one who actually took an extra effort to take us around, taught how to focus on pictures, and I helped us to identify the species. And also he saw like two bugs there, and it was it kind of like resembled the Indian red bugs that we have here, but it was not the Indian red bug. But he did not know why like they were attached, the two bugs were attached that way. And when I shared like my little knowledge about that, and I showed him the videos that I had taken about the Indian red bugs and their behavior in the campus, he was actually very excited to learn that. And he was like, it was something that he did not know. And one thing that I think we all learned is that whatever little knowledge we have, we might consider it as something very little and something that's not worth sharing. But to some other person, it's like a very good information, something that they don't know, and it adds on to their knowledge. And also about the whole experience and the perspective people have on things. Because me and Annette, we are from Kerala, so we were not so excited to see the water bodies there. But the people who came with us, they were like, okay, this is water bodies. This is something that we don't get to see often, and they were very excited about it. So that is like our whole experience that we had in this, a wonderful experience we had for 3 days. And when we were leaving from Belvai, we did not even feel like coming back. We did not like feel like coming back to Chennai, or even not just college, even Chennai, because after being in that new atmosphere, we really didn't like want to come back. And one more thing is that the species we observe at this time is different when during the species and like we observe during the summer season. So like we are also very excited. If we get an opportunity again, we might go again during the summer season to see the butterflies again. And is Sanchita able to unmute? Will she be speaking? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to try once more. Just a second. Sanjita, can you see if you're able to unmute this time? Well, she's unmuted, but her voice is not coming through. I think there's a problem with her mic.
It's thanking everybody and all that.
Yeah.
So this has been very wonderful. The last 1 hour. I mean, one could see the amount of new experiences which all of you had seems to have, is permeating to all of us who are listening to you. And it's so very good that you are able to not just meet new people and share your perspectives, but also learn so much about what it means to go and be in a different place. Yeah, I know people who encounter leeches for the first time in their lives are all scared, but then after a while, the leeches get used to you, and you get used to the leeches. So it was really very, very wonderful, and I think these kind of experiences help you to also understand, like Shirley said, Shirley knew what a butterfly was, but then now she's fallen in love with butterflies. Now, that's the kind of transformation that happens when you go on such trips. And it was wonderful, the presentation, despite all the glitches a little bit here and there, but it is so very good that you took time off to share your experiences with us. And very, very happy and grateful for what you did. Thank each and every one of you very, very much. I also thank Kalpana and Vidya for having, such wonderful students. And I think that reflects on both of you, your attitude to how you deliver learning. Thank you, Kalpana and Vidya. And thank all members who took time off to be here with us. Thank you very, 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 very much.
Vijay, from our side also, thank you so much for being receptive to the idea of having these kids share their experiences. I think this is a very nice platform for them to air their thoughts and experiences, and there is some learning in what they said for all of us. And I'm glad we were able to feel some of that. The excitement and ebullience is so infectious that I thought, I think this was something that had to be shared. So thank you so much.
Most welcome, anytime. And I think
Thank you so much, sir, for the opportunity you've given them.
No, not at all with them. The whole idea was that, yes, this is what the whole concept of UWW was about. We reach out to students, and I think students should. So if there are other things that your students go and do, please feel free to come back and let's give them all a chance to speak about their experiences. Thank you all very much. Thank you all. Good night.